everybody. I'm back. I know it's been a little while. I was hoping to be live next week, but I was in Ireland at the beginning of the month, and I had actually a really hard time recovering from jet lag. And I'm actually working like crazy right now in the Edmonton, Alberta, Sherwood Park, Stony Plain area up here in Canada. And I've got a lot going on. So instead of doing readings today, I thought I would just talk a little bit. The biggest thing I want to talk about is actually energy. After coming back from Ireland and everything, myself anyway. So everything I talk about today is all about myself and how I deal with energy and how I work with energy. And I know a lot of other energy workers out there might be a little different, but for me, this is how it works. So here we go. So when I'm really tired, or I'm just feeling very emotionally drained, or, have been going through a lot, I personally am not able to make those really strong connections that all of you deserve to have and deserve to connect with your guides, loved ones. So I always choose to, rather giving instead of giving a crappy reading to someone, or I usually call them a half-assed reading, I would rather, either move a scheduled appointment or just talk like this on our wonderful radio show with A1R Psychic Radio News Network. News Network. Oh gosh, see, my brain's not even working. So that's kind of why I decided to just talk today. And it's interesting because I was kind of, when I came home today, or came to my girlfriend's house where I'm staying, I was like, okay, I'm going to do readings. I should, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I love doing. But I literally was like, but I'm so tired. And I'm sure you've noticed, even here, I'm not my super bubbly, like happy go lucky self right now. I'm a little more subdued and everything, but I did bring my cards with me. And I was shuffling them as I was getting ready to do the readings, and I was still on the fence as to what I was going to do. And the card that popped out for me was patience. And it was reminding me that I don't always have to be top-notch 100%. I can give what I have, and that's still okay. And the reason why I thought, sometimes I like to talk about that and share my lessons with people is because I always think that if I can go through something and share it, then maybe somebody else will remember they're not the only ones going through it, and they're not the only ones who are maybe having a half-ass kind of day, right? Or maybe they're not going to be able to give their all, but they're giving their all in that day, right? So that's kind of why I was like, all right. And even when Dave called me, my wonderful producer, to say, so what are we doing today? And are we doing readings? And I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure. He's like, we can do a rerun. And he's been so great and so sweet. But I was like, no, because I should do something, because I've been doing reruns for so long and I feel bad. So I was like, all right, we're just going to do this today. I'm just going to talk, and we're going to go with it. So let me tell you about an amazing experience that I had in Ireland. So long story short, a long time ago, I ended up giving my husband a past life reading by accident. I don't normally practice past life regressions, and I wasn't sure 100% to believe on what I was telling him, because it's my husband. I know what he likes. I know what cultures, are fascinating to him. So I wasn't sure if what I was giving him was definitely divine guidance or a divine reading, or if it was just, what I wanted, what I knew he'd want to hear. But then I had a reading done by a wonderful gal. If ever you want an amazing Akashic record reading, her name is Tara Drennan. I absolutely love this gal. She gave me Akashic record reading, and I never told her about this past life reading. And she validated so much about what I said. So the reason why I tell you that is because one of the past lives that my husband and I had, I think it was actually one of the very first ones we had together, was in Ireland. So it was really cool for me to get back there. And I actually felt like I was going home. And I'd never been to Ireland before. I have English-Irish roots, but not necessarily direct Irish roots in the family, right, in this lifetime. So it felt really interesting that I felt like I was going home. There were so many beautiful things. If ever you get a chance to go go to Ireland. I highly recommend it, especially if you're someone that loves energy and green. When they talk about Ireland being an Emerald Isle, I don't think anything prepares you for how green and lush and energetic this place is. It truly is. You know, when they talk about fae and fairy tales and just special places, I think Ireland is totally it. If you get a chance to go to Cliffs of Moher, definitely do it. It's amazing. So anyways, we were driving along. It was myself, my mom, my sister, and my great aunt. And we were driving along and kind of got lost, but all of a sudden I heard this voice that said, pull over. And we were looking at all these ruins and I was like, okay, so I quickly pulled over. I didn't know what was there. I couldn't exactly see it because it was up above and hidden by not only a rock wall, but some bushes. And my mom and sister were like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't know. We should go and look in there. I really want to. So I walk into this kind of like castle or a church that's like a ruin, but it has a cemetery in it at the same time. So we had been in a cemetery earlier in the day. I didn't feel anything. I usually say cemeteries are the best place for me because they're really quiet, because I don't ever feel dead people there, because all the dead people are with their families, right? They're not hanging out at the cemetery. They're hanging out with you, which is great and loving and kind. So anyways, didn't feel anything, was super relaxed, enjoyed the quiet. But then we walked into this next cemetery and it was like as if I had energetic currents just going from my feet all the way up to the top of my head, especially on my right side. And it was just vibrating. And I was like, holy cow, what is going on? And immediately I'm like, okay, guides, like, what is going on here? Why am I feeling so energetic? There's like, what the heck is going on? This is so weird, but loving it at the same time. And literally what I heard was, Colin's here. Your husband's body from past life is buried here. Now, I didn't believe that there would be a headstone because that was many, 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 many years ago that he would have been buried here. But I found a little spot in the field. Well, not really the field, but I guess the cemetery that just had these little rock markers. And it's so funny because I'm always, so I'm a Gemini, so I have two sides to every story, right? I have two faces, two personalities. And I always hear the one side being the spiritual side of me and being like, yes, believe that this is where he is. And I got to this one rock and I was like, holy crap, this is where you are. And the energy and the feeling and the like, oh man, I totally believe this. I believe I found where my husband's past body is. And I believe 100%. And then there's the other side of me that is like, wow, Sarah, you really sound out to lunch and you sound like really cuckoo. But that side, every day I choose to listen to my spiritual side and my intuitive side. The other like so-called logical side gets quieter and quieter and less and less. And I think, it's really important I think they can marry each other really complementary and be good balance for each other. One foot to keep me level-headed and another foot to remember that there are things that will happen in this lifetime that don't make sense. But when you enjoy it, it's amazing. And so that was quite an incredible experience for me. And I loved it. And I don't think anybody in the world would ever be able to convince me that I didn't find my husband's burial place. And I even now, even thinking about it, it just makes me kind of like, whew. And I loved it because my sister was like, now you found a piece of him. So when you get home, you tell me if there's any shifts or any difference about him. And what was really neat is that evening when, before I even told my husband anything, he was like, I feel like today was a really special day for you. And I think that you enjoyed today more than anything in the past couple days that you've been around or in Ireland. And I just I kept that to myself. I didn't want to share that, but that to me is just another validating thing that my husband is definitely there. And it was just kind of really cool. And I think when you are open to the mysteries or mystics of part of life, more of it opens up to you. Another lesson that I learned in Ireland that I found really, excuse me, I'm sorry. I got really sick when I was in Ireland. The second day I was there, I had no voice and it was just awful. And I'm still kind of trying to get rid of it. So I apologize about the coughing and the noise. But actually, it was really funny. I think it was the second day we were in Ireland. Actually, it would have been the third day. We were driving in this area and I was like, oh, wow, isn't this beautiful? Isn't this cool? And the rest of my passengers, because I was doing most of the driving for the trip, the rest of the passengers were like, we were just driving through here yesterday when I was really sick. And I was like, wow, I really shouldn't have been driving because I have no memory of driving through here. So note to self, when I'm sick, even if I didn't take any medication, which I hadn't, don't drive in a strange area. Thank goodness for my angels and guides that kept myself and my passengers safe, because when people tell you that the roads in Ireland are narrow and windy and you're supposed to go fast on them, your concept of what narrow and windy might be, take it. And like, if you think, oh yeah, they're probably about that side, half it and go like that because that's how wide the roads are. So anyways, another lesson that I learned really strongly while I was in Ireland, and it was such a good, important reminder, is my mom loves photography, and I've been blessed to have gotten that passion from her as well. And I really do enjoy taking pictures, and I have a beautiful digital camera, but I don't allow it to do automatic exposure. Like, I manually set everything so that I can play with the light and take the picture that I want to take. And I do the focus and to me, that's part of the art of taking the picture. Now, at the Cliffs of Moher, I kept taking all these beautiful pictures, and I kept looking for the next best shot, and the sun was changing, and we were there for quite a while. So it was kind of really neat to go from late afternoon to dusk to see the different colors that show up in the rock face and even see the ocean change color. But as I was taking those pictures, I realized I was missing the moment. I wanted to experience Ireland, and I wanted to experience the energy. And I was so involved in taking pictures to capture the memory that I was missing the memory. So it really taught me, and I'm so glad it taught me that in the first day, that yes, it's great to take pictures to remember the memory, but be in the moment and enjoy what's happening. And I kept having to remind myself, you're in Ireland. This is your first European vacation. This is first over the seas. And it's so important in daily life as well. You know, I think we're so, and I'm like the worst offender I know. I take selfies all the time and I just love them and they're so much fun. But we're so like Instagram and Facebook and posting and getting the next best thing that I think sometimes we forget to live in the moment. And so that's actually something that I got to share with a client of mine today, earlier this afternoon. Her lovely father came in. He's always such a riot when we talk to him. He's passed and he loves his daughter so much. It's amazing. And he came in and he was talking about the fact that, it's important for her to leave her cell phone outside of the bedroom, because before we go to sleep, we're all on the phone. And it's not just her. We're all guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. You know, before you go to sleep, you've got your phone. And then as soon as you wake up, you pick up your phone. We forget to like relax and breathe when we wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I'm excited for today. I wonder what today has got in store for me. And we forget to connect to our inner selves in those first few moments of morning. And instead we're like, okay, what do I got to do? What needs to get done? What's going on in the world? Who's posted what on Facebook? Oh, I should like that. And I'm, like I said, I am so guilty of this and stuff, but it's so important to be present in the moment and not worry about what's coming next. And I think too, when you take that moment to connect to yourself and really enjoy the moment of the morning, the first few breaths, being appreciative and having gratitude, you're more grounded throughout the day. And you're more aware of how you feel about things, what your opinions are about things. I think you're better able to communicate about things as well. When you've fully connected to your body. And, that way you're not like, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I will just look at my clothes and I'll just be like, okay, well, this will work. And I'll just throw it on. And I don't appreciate, hey, this looks really good. And I think I look pretty good today. And I forget to tell myself that. And I rely on my husband to tell me that. And I need to more focus on how I'm feeling in that moment. Normally I really love the color blue, but maybe I don't like the color blue today. Instead of putting something on by habit, maybe I should understand what it's doing to me. I do not like the color red. I can't stand the color red. And usually, excuse me, sorry guys. And I figured that out because I learned that color actually has an energetic vibration. And there's a reason why we're drawn to a color. As you can see, I was kind of laughing at myself because I'm wearing black today. Now, when I wear black, it's generally because I'm a little low on energy. I want to hide. I want to be comfortable. I'm not really overly out there, but usually I'll wear white, I'll wear blue, I'll wear purple. I don't wear pink as much with the pink hair because I feel like that's a little too much pink. But I usually wear a lot of color, and I actually make an effort to buy color more than anything because I don't want to be a wallflower. I don't want to stand, be hidden from the crowds, but you'll always know when I'm kind of feeling a little off because you'll see me wearing black. And that's okay. That's just what black does, right? It kind of makes it so you don't really stand out. One of my favorite things my teacher ever said was, we were in one of her classes and she used me as an example because that day I was wearing a very brightly colored dress and she was talking about colors and she pointed at me and she's like, now look at Sarah. When she first started coming here, she was always in black. Always, and was kind of be hidden in the corner. And now look at her. She's wearing very vibrant, bright, here I am kind of pictures. And she's sitting pattern and she's sitting right in front of the class. So it's very interesting how if you pay attention to how color even affects your energy, it's kind of makes sense as to why you're wearing something in that particular day. I don't know about you guys, but when another thing that I'll do to make myself feel a little warmer or a little more comfortable is I'll usually have like a sweater. My best friend always buys me the best sweaters, and this is one she got for me, or I wear a hoodie. So the whole thing about all of this today was about energy. And it's so important that when you guys, so it's not just light workers or energy workers that have to be aware of how their energy around them is affecting them. I think, we all have to realize as a human race, energy affects us in all ways, shapes, and forms. And sometimes when you're around, and it's so evident, like when you're around when you're having a bad day, and you're around someone that's really happy and really go lucky, they will either pull you out of that funk or you'll just get really irritated, right? And you look at these people and you're like, how can you be so happy? It's raining, it's snowing, it's miserable outside, and yet you're just so happy. And they're like, yeah, but I'm alive and it's a great day. And sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes you just want to smack them and be like, get out of my face. Because we're in our lower energy egos, right? And other times we're like, yeah, you know what? I am alive and I am breathing and I have a roof over my head and I have all these amazing things happening to me. And that's great. And you know what? I am so like usually the happy person that is like, people will be talking to me about, stressful or possibly negative things that are happening. And I'm like, yeah, but there's nothing you can do. So just move on. And then sometimes I go, I really hope I'm not annoying you because I'm being so positive, or I'm like, because, it's a really good thing to be positive, but it doesn't mean that you can't every once in a while be like, today I'm going to have a stress day. Today I'm going to allow myself to feel a little low. I'm going to allow myself not to wallow in those lower thoughts or feelings, but sometimes you just have to embrace them and be like, I'm allowed to feel sad today, because that is a human emotion and that's part of our human experience. So I think that's really important. Wow. You never know how long a half an hour is until you have to do a monologue or something, or just talk to people, because I'm literally thinking in my head going, okay, Spirit, you've given me so much. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Give me more. And please make it sound like I'm smart and I'm not just yammering. So I hope a lot of what I have said has helped somebody realize that, hey, just because I'm having a down day or a down month or a down week, whatever it is, it's okay. I think it's so important that even if for 5 minutes during the day, though, you have some type of light in your life, because I do believe that when, changing your vibration, it is possible to change your reality. And I think I've mentioned this before on the radio show, but I tell a lot of my clients that in life, I always envision that we have 2 cups. We have the cup of negativity, fear, ego, uncertainty, and all of that. And I think this is where the world is driven mostly, is to this cup, having more likes, having more followers, having the perfect picture, having the perfect food, having the perfect. But it's so unattainable that we just feel like we're constantly missing the mark. So I feel like we're very focused on this. Whereas instead, if we shift it and start focusing on the desired outcomes, positivity, our goals and dreams as not just goals and dreams, but possible realities, I feel like that this cup will become fuller, and then this cup will slowly get smaller and smaller until it's just a little blip, and then this is overflowing. And excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm learning this big time myself. Because I'm obviously an entrepreneur. I've been doing this for full time now for 4 years, going on 5, and I've been very blessed to do it. And I've loved every minute of it, and everything. But my husband's always been the main worker. Well, now he's doing his own thing. He's becoming his own entrepreneurial business and following his own path and following his intuition. And automatically I was like, oh my God, but we're not going to have a steady check coming in. And oh my God, we have these bills, and how are we going to eat? And I'm someone that tells people constantly, don't worry about it. What you focus on, you will receive, because I do believe that. I really do. And especially when it comes to finances, because anytime I've been like, oh, I have an unexpected bill come up, I'd be like, okay, Spirit, let's schedule a reading. And sure enough, I want to be like, sure as shit. I would schedule that reading, and I would be able to pay the bill. And it's amazing how all of a sudden something that's unfamiliar, unknown can kind of rock your core or shake your foundation. But the cool thing is when instead of going, oh my God, I have all these cracks in my foundation, you can just go, oh, okay, perfect. My foundation is still solid, but I see that Spirit is telling me I just need a little bit of attention to these little cracks here. And really, in the grand scheme of things, those little cracks aren't so important. I can fix them. I can work with them because I am constantly supported by Spirit and the universe. I am loved. These opportunities or this path that my husband and I have chosen would not be here if it wasn't the right thing. My husband is trusting his intuition more than he ever has in his life. And I should rather, instead of being like, I should be applauding that and being super happy for him. And I really, really am. And I think it's really great. And in fact, we actually talked about it today, because there was something he was doing, and I was like, how could you do that right now? And then as I was driving, I heard Spirit go, Sarah, you ask him to trust his intuition all the time. Don't you think this is trusting his intuition? And I was like, normally this would have ended up in a really big fight. But what happened was I listened to my messages and I asked him about his, and they met up. So, understanding that when you get a draw to something, or you're pulled to something, or driven towards something, it's because the universe, your angels and guides, and your higher self is telling you, this is your path. Maybe it's not the end game, but this is your path. And again, it takes energy and it takes time. Allow yourself those times to be energetic, or allow those times for yourself to be, I don't have the energy today. And that's actually what I told my husband, because he was beating himself up for not going out there and pushing his business and everything. And I said, you know what, Colin? Maybe you needed this downtime to re-energize, to refocus, as well as to get the people that you need to meet, they have to get in line with the vibration and meet you at the certain time too. So sometimes you just have to understand that we all need to recharge. And I know that a lot of people are anxious for readings, and that's totally understandable. And you're looking for that connection. So when it's someone like me that's like, I'm sorry, I have to reschedule, it's not because I really want to, because trust me, I don't, but I actually always want to give you the best of everything I have, whether it is online like this, whether it's over the phone, whether it's Facebook Live when I go there, or in person. My goal every time, no matter what it is to be the best channeler that I can be, and give you the best information, because if I don't, I'm cheating you out of something really amazing and possibly life-changing. So I appreciate everybody's patience, in especially my producers with A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. I really appreciate all of their patience with me. I know I'm running out of time, but just really quickly, I am going to ask everybody if they don't mind sending a little prayer to my mom, Colleen. She's going in for major surgery next Monday. And there's a couple of things that might still happen that we're not sure about. So that if you could all send a prayer to Colleen, my mom, I'd greatly appreciate it. So love and light to everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to be live next week, but it all depends on everything that goes on with my mom. So love and light, guys. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your week.